Okay, starting with the 2018 A-level paper, question number 7. So I want all of you all to give me answers. We'll start. Which of the following will most likely, to happen in a market for good X if the price of good X decreases while other things remain constant? So there can only be two options. If the price of good X decrease, one thing can happen is the quantity demanded for X can price of good X decreases. Quantity demanded can increase. The quantity supplied for X can decrease, or maybe a substitute or a complement can get affected. But here I don't think we'll have to go to that level. So which one is our answer, guys? Which one talks about either the quantity demanded increasing or the quantity supplied decreasing when the price of X has gone up? Which one? The fourth one. The quantity demanded for good X will increase. Very easy and very straightforward. Moving to the next. Question 8. When a demand curve is drawn, are these questions? The assumption is that quantity demanded always increases as price falls. Quantity demanded always decreases as price falls. Changes in price do not influence supply. Price elasticity of demand does not vary along the demand curve. Factors affecting demand remain constant other than price. What is the assumption? We're not asking what is the demand curve showing. We're asking what is the assumption that we make when drawing a demand curve. Which one, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Answer is number 5, right? We assume that all other factors affecting demand remain constant other than the price. The price is changing, the others are remaining constant. That's that. Then going to the next. Question 9. In the market for a good, the quantity supplied and quantity demanded are respectively given by QS equals minus 30 plus P, QD equals 240 minus 2P. A change in the product tax on the good makes QS equals minus 36 plus P. How will the change in tax affect equilibrium price? Okay. Can you all do this for me, guys? Can you tell me what is the equilibrium price before tax? Now, I'm not going to show you how to calculate equilibrium, that we know, guys. Equilibrium price before tax. So what you have to do, you have to equate QS equals minus 30 plus P, right? Okay, so minus 30 plus P should be equal to 240 minus 2P. So how much do you get as equilibrium price, guys, there? Get 90. Okay. So then after tax, your equilibrium QS equation changes. So it's minus 36 plus P equals 240 minus 2P. So how much is our price now? Price is a 92. Okay, 92. So then what can you say, guys? Before now they're asking you, how will the change in tax affect the equilibrium price? So because of the tax, what has happened, guys? The equilibrium price has gone up from 90 to 92, means it has increased by 2 rupees. That is what you have to highlight. So it will rise by 2. Yes, these are very simple ones, right? That's why I'm going a little bit more faster. Okay, very direct and very easy ones. Then we'll go to 10. If both demand and supply of tea increase, what will happen to the equilibrium price and quantity in the tea market? Now, we have discussed questions like this. So draw and see and tell me what is going to happen, guys. The equilibrium, okay, so there was demand, there was supply. Based on that, you had equilibrium price and quantity. So what has happened here? Both demand and supply increases. Demand also has increased, rightward shift. Supply also has increased, right? Rightward shift. So according to the way I have drawn, or whatever way you draw, one thing you can guarantee and say is that the quantity will increase, right? Can you say that? When the demand and supply both increase, the equilibrium quantity will definitely increase. That you can definitely say. But what about the price? Now, let's say supply decreased a very little like this. Then price would have been where? Price would have been at a higher level here. Let's say, this supply increased a lot, let's say something like this, right? Then price would have been at a lower level than the equilibrium. So what does that mean, guys? That means now, unless in this question they have said supply and demand is changing equally, you can't assume that, no? We have done questions like this. So what can you tell about the price, guys? The price is indeterminate. It can remain constant, it can increase, or it can even decrease. We don't know. So which answer talks about this? The fifth. Yes, I am okay with this one. I got lesser answers for this one. I am okay with this. We did questions like this before also. Can you all handle something like this? Can you see the same question is coming over and over again? Okay. Going to the next. Okay, one of the easiest ones. I want answers from all of you all if you all are not asleep. If the demand for milk increases whenever a person's income increases, then milk is an example of an inferior good, a free good, a normal good, a merit good, a given good. Income is increasing, demand for milk is also increasing. So what type of good is it? If you're not asleep, give me an answer. This is the easiest the question can get. Are these even A-level questions? So demand is increasing when the income is increasing means it's what, guys? It's a normal. Okay. Ninth one answer was 3. Okay, so 11th one answer is again 3 normal good. Going to the next. Assume that the demand for a certain firm's product is perfectly inelastic. So demand is perfectly inelastic. That means even when the price changes, demand doesn't change. Let's say demand is here. What will be the effect on the firm's revenue if the firm increases price by 6%? What do you all think, guys? Let's say earlier the price was 100, right? Now they increase their price to 106, 6% increase, right? What will happen to total revenue? Okay, total revenue will increase, correct? Increase by how much, guys? What do you all think? Total revenue will increase, no? Perfectly inelastic, no? So even when the price increase, the person is still buying 100 units, according to my example. What do you all think, guys? Okay, according to this example, you all want to do a calculation and tell me, what is the total revenue before? The price was 100, quantity was 100, so the total revenue is 10,000, right? 100 into 100, 10,000. Now, what is my total revenue after the 6% price increase? Total revenue after. Price is 106, quantity is still 100. How still 100? Because in the question they say demand is perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic means even when price changes, QD does not change. So now how much is my total revenue? It's a 10,600, right? So 100 went to 106 is a 6% increase. What can tell about total revenue? 10,000 went to 10,600. How much percent of an increase is that? Is it more than 6%? Is it 6%? Is it less than 6%? What is it? How do you calculate percentages, guys? Can't remember? You don't have to calculate a percentage, but you can do is how do you calculate the percentage, guys? Percentage is the change divided by the initial value, right? Change divided by the initial value into 100. So how much is my change? 10,000 went to 10,600 means change is a 600. My initial value is 10,000. So 600 over 10,000 into 100, I get a 6%. Okay. So what does that mean, guys? When my price increased by 6%, my total revenue will also increase by 6%. Why? Because my quantity never falls, no? Quantity is still the same. Please, do you understand, right? How many of you all can do this question without doing any calculation? With your logic, you can figure it out. If you that is the ideal level. You don't have to do numbers for this case. You don't have to put this 100 then 106 then. That is not needed. I'm just putting this for the ones who are not very sure to explain this to you. So ideally, you should be able to figure this out without doing any calculation. Perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic means, okay, price is increasing, but QD is never increasing. So what is happening over here is this now, guys. Price multiplied by the quantity demanded equals total revenue. Okay. So price is increasing by 6%. Okay. Quantity demanded doesn't change because why? Because this is perfectly inelastic. So QD doesn't change. So in other words, you should be able to figure out then the total revenue will also increase by 6%. So you should have some common logical sense to figure this out, but you can put some numbers also and do it fine. But the ideal student will not need numbers for this. Yes, just have that in mind. Going to the next. Question 30. In a competitive market for cinnamon, 10 million kilograms were sold for 900 per kilogram in 2016. In 2017, 10 million kilograms are sold for 800 per kilogram. Which of the following changes in demand and supply could have caused this outcome? We'll see. We'll draw and see, guys. Easy to draw and see. Let's draw and see. So earlier in 2016, 10 million kilograms were sold at 900. That is the equilibrium price and quantity. Okay. So price is 900. The quantity is 10 million kilograms. Now, what has happened in 2017? 1 year later, the same amount is sold. 10 million kilograms are sold, but at 800 the unit. So that means now they are at equilibrium here, guys. Okay, sorry. Okay, why this one fell? Okay, 10 million kilograms at 800 rupees. How can you come to equilibrium over there, guys? Can you think and tell me? At that red point, how can they come? So now this is no 800, 800, then 10. Think, guys. How can they come to this point? Okay, we'll go one by one. What should happen to the supply curve if you want to come to this red point? Supply has to increase, right? Rightward shift. Okay, there has to be a increase in the supply. Now, just the increase in the supply, is it enough? Because if only the supply increases, then you are at equilibrium here, no, guys. If only the supply increases, because demand has not changed, can't be. So supply has to increase, correct? What should happen to demand, guys? There's also have to be a decrease in the demand, no? The demand curve has to do what? The demand curve has to shift to the left. Okay, let me try to. Okay, the demand curve has to shift to the left. So if this happens, if the supply increases and the demand decreases, then you can have equilibrium at still 10 million and the price going down to 800. Is that clear, guys? How you can draw the diagram and figure it out? So answer is number 3. Okay. So these kind of questions, now you should be able to draw it and figure out, guys, because these kind of questions, there is nothing that you can memorize and go in your exam. So they can give the same question by changing the numbers, guys. They can tell you different numbers. So you should figure out how those numbers could appear. You draw a demand and supply schedule, sorry, demand and supply curve, and get that done. Going to the next. 2018, question 14. Suppose that the market supply curve for a certain consumer good is upward sloping and the market demand curve is downward sloping. How does a unit subsidy on the product affect the consumer surplus and the producer surplus? Guys, I'm not going to draw diagrams for this, but can you tell me, guys, when a subsidy is put into place, what happens to consumer surplus? Consumer surplus increases or decreases? Think, guys, when you put a subsidy, consumer ends up paying a lesser price, no, at the end of the day. So consumer surplus goes up. What happens to producer surplus? Because the subsidy, producer gets a higher price than his previous price. So producer surplus also goes up. So as a result, what happens, guys? The consumer surplus and producer surplus both increases. Now, I'm not going to take and draw diagrams. Those are in the theory areas. So go through your theory parts. If you have no way of going through the theory parts, what I told you before, you can purchase the recordings and the tutes and cover it up. Okay, going to the next. Question 15. Suppose the market demand and supply curves for a product sold in a competitive market are represented by the following equations: QD and QS. Price after demand at the market equilibrium. Okay, first of all, guys, can you tell me how much is the equilibrium price and quantity? When they tell you to find this, you have to find equilibrium price and quantity first. How much is equilibrium price? Equilibrium prices. 14th answer was 3. Okay, equilibrium price is 30. How much is the equilibrium quantity? 40 units. Okay. So how do we calculate PED? PED equals, you can take your B component minus B, right? That is change in QD over change in P, hoping you all know that, multiplied by price over QD. So can you put the numbers and tell me, yes, how much should I take as minus B here? What's the number? My QD equation is 160 minus 4P. So I need to take minus 4, guys. Don't miss the minus. Okay, that's be a minus 4. Then price and QD, what do I take? I take the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. Because why? In the question they're asking, find PED at market equilibrium. So then you will take the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. So equilibrium price is 30. Equilibrium quantity is 40. How much do we get? So very boring question. Minus 3. Yeah. Okay. Then your answer is answer number 4. Is that okay, guys? Can you all handle a question like that? Step. Okay. So that's the 2018 A-level paper. I think all the questions were very, very, very easy for some reason. Okay. How much did you all get right? So starting from question 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There were 9 questions. How many out of 9? 7, 8, 9, 6, 5. Because I'm hoping that you all are little by little at least improving from where you all were to where you all are now. Okay, if that improvement is not coming, if you were 9 out of 9 in the first paper, then there is no improvement, right? But at least if you see some sort of improvement, that is the whole objective. Okay, so that is the end of the 2018 paper.